Again, let me do my formal part here. My name is Shula Vanchik, and I do arts and culture at the JCC, very virtually now, and in a way of a very, we call it petit comité, very intimate settings. Um, Interesting to do this work now. All right. Nofar, Israeli Italian soprano, recorded for Disney Pictures in the Hebrew version of Beauty and the Beast live action movie. She is the creator and producer of the worldwide musical Solidarity Project, which was born as a global response to the global COVID-19 pandemic crisis, connecting 500 performers over 65 countries and 55 opera houses and cultural institutions worldwide. Nofar performs regularly as a soloist with major orchestras and opera houses. She performed with the Richmond Symphony Orchestra, the Jerusalem Symphony Orchestra, the Haifa Symphony Orchestra, and many others, Nofar. And here in Canada, the Toronto Academy Chamber Orchestra. I remember also you've been at the Calgary Opera as a resident performer there. She was supposed to make her debut with the Calgary Philharmonica Orchestra in these days. Unfortunately, the concerts were postponed due to the pandemic, of course, and we hope they are rescheduled soon. Nofar recently made her debut with the roles of Gilda in Rigoletto and Rosina, Il Barbero de Sevilla in Italy. How you like my Italian accent, yeah?
It's very nice.
Her recent engagements include recitals at the Canadian Opera Company, Queen of the Night, The Magic Flute, in Corner Hall, recitals in Mazzoleni Hall, and recitals at the Glen Gould Studio of the CBC Canadian Broadcasting Company. She performed in the Eilat Chamber Music Festival, the Abu Ghosh Music Festival, the 21C Century New Music Festival, the Toronto Jewish Music Festival, and the Spazio Musica Festival. Okay, Nofar is an alumni of the Israeli Opera Meitar Studio, the Calgary Opera Emerging Artists Program, and the Rebanks Family Fellowship and International Performance Residency. She graduated from the Buchman Mehta School of Music in Tel Aviv and the Eli Leon Scholarships, as well as the Sir Jack Lyons Charitable Trust. And David Lyons is a friend and supporter of our programs here, and he is actually supporting this program today. You have to include Nofar, your presentations at the JCC in person. They're not in the bio. So Nofar did two recitals for us. She was part of the Cohen's tribute concert, Leonard Cohen's tribute concert. What did you perform? You performed, remind me.
I think it was first we take Manhattan, then we take.
Yes. So she performed with us 2 years ago on the first anniversary of his passing, and it was such a great concert. And then another concert, Friends Around the Bonfire, when she did some opera around the bonfire. So she is a very dearly friend of us here in Calgary, and I hope we have you soon in person again. And with this comprehensive bio, I cannot stop, talking and praising you enough. I'll give it to you, Nofar. Take it away.
Thank you very much. So first of all, thank you for organizing this event. I know that this last year is really difficult with everything being online, having to find the audience online. It's all new, it's all strange, and it's all much more challenging. So I really thank you for this, Shula. and all the JCC, of course. And also, I would like to thank you, Liz, Edward, and Brianna, that you're here.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you being here and giving your time, and I hope you will enjoy this afternoon together. And well, welcome to La Scala, like you can see. I'm actually right now in Israel, but my background is one of the most beautiful theaters in the world, in Milano, Teatro La Scala. So I chose this because I think it's the symbol of opera, and I hope you also enjoy the background, although theaters are still closed in Italy, but at least we can be there with our imagination. So like Shula said, I hope you have a drink, because when you go to the opera, you need to have something, you know, you need to feel nice and have a nice drink. I don't know if you can see, oh, the background is I made this drink like to bring you in the atmosphere. So
what is it?
It's an Italian liquor. I'm not sure about the name, but it's nice. So yeah, so we'll try to do something light. We will talk about opera, of course, about a few opera stories that I found that are really relevant, especially now with what happened to all of us with the pandemic, the lockdowns, the restrictions, this feeling of being like so distant from each other, but also very close to each other, finding things that are suddenly maybe we find out they're more important than other things. So we're going to talk about these things, and also about the connection with Pesach, with Passover, which is the holiday of freedom, from slavery to freedom. Which I also find very relevant to the pandemic, because this last year is sort of a slavery for all of us, and we all hope for this freedom to come. And so these are the things we're going to talk about. We're also going to listen to music together, which I hope you enjoy. Shula, please let me know if something if you can't hear well the music, let me know. Also you, Brianna, Liz, and Edward, if there is a technical problem, just let us know. And please feel free to ask questions whenever you want, because we're also not many people, so it's actually a very nice, intimate chat that we can have. If you have questions for me personally, or about opera, or about anything, just feel free to ask whenever you want. You don't need to wait until the end of this meeting.
So on that note, why don't you guys unmute yourselves, and then just feel free to, you know, express yourself whenever you feel.
Okay.
Yes, please. It's really like we're sitting in a nice room with a nice drink and talking, and please feel free.
In Milano.
In
Okay,
Milan,
that's nice.
in La Scala's lobby, okay? Just before.
Excellent.
Good. Okay, so now I'll share the screen with you, my screen with you. And we start. Okay, can you all see?
Yes, it's nice.
Okay, so I hope you enjoy this pun, Passover opera. We thought to choose something funny, and or why opera is connected to everything in your life. So both the pandemic and Pesach, and let's listen. Just let's open with some music.
Music.
Can you hear? I
Yeah.
heard. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, great. So we opened with Verdi's opera La Forza del Destino. In English, the Power of Fate. It's one of his really beautiful operas. I love it very much. And the picture you saw is actually from the debut Shula was talking about with Rigoletto, which is also a Verdi's opera. And we are going to talk today mainly about Verdi. But first, we're going to talk about opera. What is opera? Maybe what we think opera is. And actually, I would like, if you would like to tell me what is opera for you? What do you know about opera?
I don't know that much, but I think opera is about emotions of life.
Oh, beautiful. Emotions of life. Beautiful, Liz. What else comes to your mind when you think about opera?
Tragedy, drama,
Tragedy, drama.
overexposure of sentiment.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And visually, what do you see when you think about opera? Like the first thing you see when you think about opera?
The best costumes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. What else? Anything else?
Orchestra.
Orchestra?
Nice stage.
What? Stage, yes.
There's a saying that goes, it's not over until the fat lady sings.
Nice, yes. There is a song like that. Actually, this leads us to what I will show you now, which is what many times people think opera is.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Right? Or something like this.
Love it. Yeah.
Or something like this. But I would like to break this thought that many people have about opera, this prejudice, and show you other scenes that are taken from operas and which are really what opera is about. And it's very connected to what you actually said. You said it perfectly.
Tragedy.
Yeah, emotion.
Love.
Emotions again. Emotions again. And emotions again. Okay. So let's start with you said really amazing things because you sort of touched the core of opera, and I thought to bring some associations and that I have when I think about opera. But before, let's see the dictionary. What the dictionary says: opera, a drama set to music and made up of vocal pieces with orchestral accompaniment and orchestral overtures or interludes. So it's like it should be a musical piece, a drama set to music. It sounds very dry this way, I think. But what it actually is, like you said, first of all, music, right? We have music, we have singers, and we have an orchestra. Everything is live. It's a live performance. And one of the most beautiful things about opera is that it's not amplified electronically. There are no microphones and no, like, everything is natural. What you hear when you're sitting there in the theater is what comes out from the singer or the violin or the clarinet. So that's like you really receive directly the vibrations that come from the instrument, which is for me it's something magical, because when you go to any other concert, even if it's like the best singer you know that you really love and everything, but you still get the sound from electricity, like from something electronic. And here you get the pure sound to your ears.
Is
So it's
that a requirement, Nofar, that there's no amplification of voice?
this is what opera is about. And why is it like this? Because many years ago, when electricity was not something we knew about, there were theaters and there were plays, but how can you hear someone singing if you're sitting really far from them? So here comes the technique of the opera, the technique of using the body in the best way in order to have the biggest sound, the biggest resonance, because we have a lot of spaces in our skull, in our whole body, and we have like this art developed a technique that gives our body the option to sound really, really loud. When I first heard an opera singer from 2 meters distance, I was shocked of how loud this is. So this is why it developed like this, and this is also why theaters like La Scala that you see in my background are built in an acoustic way, because then it's not only how you project the sound, but also how the space you're in gives you back the sound, and that's also a whole art that was developed for many years. And now in some theaters, by the way, you can hear like amplified sounds, but usually it's not done like that, because opera is about no amplification, only voice, only orchestra, without any tricks. So, music, passion, right? Expression, it's all connected to what you said before. Stories, because opera is actually, like we saw before, it's a drama. So it's like a play, like you go to the theater, you watch a play, there is a story, there are costumes, there is the stage, there is everything, but they're talking, right, in a play. But when you go to opera, all of these things happen still, the costumes, the story, the acting, everything, but instead of talking, we hear it sung. The text is sung and not spoken. It's spoken only a few times in opera, but most of the piece is sung. We have revenge, which is one of the feelings that we see many times in opera. We have feelings, like we said, life. Opera is about life, theater is about life, sacrifice. I'm going through here because there are many things, but love, of course, is the center of most of the stories. History and culture, we see in many operas things that are really connected to events that happened in the past. People, of course, families. Many operas are around families, and we will see very soon an opera that I will talk about that has to do with the family, and how what happens in the family is very strong and very powerful, and it can lead to very good things, but it can also lead to tragedies. Desire, mental health, many heroines in opera go crazy because they can't stand anymore the pressures that their family or the society puts on them. So it's acting, comedy, society, dance, jealousy, anger, many oppression, many things. And above all the things, we have hope. Not always this hope is helpful, let's say, because most operas they end a bit tragically, but hope is something that also leads the stories many times.
There's one word that is missing there, Nofar.
Which word?
The ego.
Oh, yeah, very good Very good one. Yes. Yeah. I mean, there are probably many other words that we
Oh,
can
for
add.
sure. I'm just joking. Just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yes, definitely ego is there. So, in other words, opera is the performing art that includes all the other performing arts in it. We have acting, we have dancing, we have music, we have the stage, we have everything, and all these things are in uh, this piece. So today we're going to talk specifically on Verdi, like I said before. This is Giuseppe Verdi, an Italian composer. He wrote many operas. He's from Italy, from like near to Parma. He was born near to Parma, and we are here. Okay, just to give you an idea of how close we are. Okay, so maybe you heard some of his of the names of his operas. Can anyone give me a name of a Verdi's opera? Maybe
Barbero de Sevilla.
Barbera di Siviglia is Rossini. It's Italian,
Sorry.
it's true, but it's Rossini. Any other thing that you heard from Verdi?
Gilda?
Gilda is the name of the character of Rigoletto. Yes, Rigoletto is an opera by Verdi. La Traviata, did you hear about La Traviata maybe? Yeah. One of the masterpieces, one of the most performed operas in the world. Macbeth, which is also, like we know, like many plays are also operas, which is interesting because it's still the stage and the drama and everything, but with music. Aida, Nabucco, and Rigoletto. And like each one of these operas is like 2 hours or 3. And he wrote another 23 of these. So just so you can imagine the work that he did, and really each opera is a masterpiece. So it's very nice to listen. And we're going to talk about Nabucco and about Rigoletto. And just to remind you that we're going to talk about how this is connected to what we experienced in the last year and to Passover, which we will talk about very soon. Okay, so let's listen to the opening orchestral overture of Rigoletto. Okay, so this was the overture, which means the first thing you hear when you sit down and the opera starts in Rigoletto. I would like to ask you, anyone that wants to participate, what did you feel from this music? What impression did it give you?
Like intensity, dramatic, anticipation.
Yes.
I felt that it was a whole journey of what we're going to experience. Like there's an introduction, there it's a build up, there's a climax, and then there's a an ending. Kind of a whole experience in the first, I don't know how many, 3 minutes. I don't know how long it is, but maybe it's gonna tell us something very important. That's a message.
Okay, interesting. So yes.
To me, I've always liked the introductions. It's like you're moving and something's happening off in the distance, and like a lot of operas start with something very quiet, very distant, and sort of a dimensionality to it that's beyond there's something outside of where you are, and it's getting closer and closer and closer, and it's a little strange, but it's about to explode upon the stage in front of you. But I always find it's actually, I feel it's we're moving, not the stage, not the opera. We're actually moving towards something dramatic happening, and as we're the ones approaching it, sort of a bit backwards. But
yeah, beautiful. I actually never thought about it this way. It's a beautiful image.
Anticipation.
Yeah, anticipation.
And which is hard to do in a play because they're either on the stage or not. There's no off stage. But I always find in opera there's an off stage occurring. Yes, they're hidden in the orchestra pit down below, but there's something else out there. It's trying to transport you to somewhere else.
In your mind's eye.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually really relate to that because something in the music gives you for me, it gives you another world of imagination that opens suddenly.
Yes.
And
yes.
any person can go to a different place also, so it's infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rigoletto.
It was so involved. It's so overwhelming too. I mean, you feel the music, you hear the music, and one more sense to come in. You're about to see what's going on, so you get sort of all the senses involved here.
Yes.
You also feel the audience hush out as well. I mean, it's the audience suddenly goes from a group of individuals to shouldn't say a group, go from individuals to a group all at the same time, as you get this sort of everybody's coming in, and then you're alone in a group, but the group is all alone with you. So
yes,
I guess.
Yeah, actually it's interesting because I feel as a performer that sometimes when, for example, when I sing and then a very delicate moment comes, like usually towards the end of an aria there is something called a cadenza, where the singer sings without the orchestra. There is total quiet, like you heard already the whole aria, which is like a song in the opera, a solo piece of the singer with the orchestra, and then there is in most arias a place where the singer sings alone, something very, very intimate. Sometimes it's very brilliant, and sometimes it's more intimate. But in these moments, I sometimes feel like the audience as a whole is breathing with me. So I can really connect with what you said, because it's like everyone is experiencing this at the same time, and maybe the heartbeats are the same. I don't know. It's interesting to check, but yeah, it's a very special experience. So a bit about actually what Shula said. You said, or some of you said anticipation. And this is interesting because the motive that we hear in the beginning of this opera, what we just listened to, is something that will tell us a lot about what's going to happen. So just a bit about this opera. First of all, of course, the composer is Verdi, the librettist, so the libretto is the text of the opera. Was written by Francesco Maria Piave, who wrote many operas with Verdi. And it was premiered in 1851, so a few years ago, in Venice. And this is the classic Rigoletto we're used to think of. Rigoletto, he's like the jester of duke's house, let's say, and he's described as a hunchback. He's like everyone mocks him all the time. He's a very sad person, although he always has to make others laugh. He's like the clown, but he's very, very sad, and he always depends on others, and he's not in a very good status in this society that he works in. And this is how usually he is shown, like this costume, you see that, like, of the clown, of something ridiculous, but also very tragic in a way. And when I was thinking about this, I remember that I watched this movie not a long time ago. Have you seen this movie, The Joker, maybe?
You know, I couldn't finish it. I started and I couldn't finish it.
Okay, so I'm sorry if this image is hard, because it's not a simple movie to watch, but it's sort of the modern clown, the clowns in our society, clowns, people who their job is to make you laugh all the time, and they always try, but then they're also the most tragic, and their life is really difficult, and they are not accepted in society. So when I thought about Rigoletto, I suddenly thought about this movie. This actor is Joaquin Phoenix, and the movie is The Joker, if you are going to watch. So yes, it's not easy to watch, but it's very interesting. And Rigoletto's story is about this man, Rigoletto, a hunchback, like probably ugly, not a pleasant presence, probably. By the way, rigolo in French means funny or ridiculous, something like that, like this sense. So it's also, the name is very symbolic. And he has a daughter. This man works at the Duke's house, but he has a daughter, Gilda, which we mentioned before. And she is all he has. He doesn't have any other family. He doesn't have, like, her mother is dead, and he only has her in his life, and he will do everything in order to keep her safe. Now, love is good and care is good, but Rigoletto loves his daughter to an extent that is not so healthy for her. He wouldn't let her go out of her house. So Gilda, she's a young girl. She's in a eternal lockdown. From when she was born, she's in a lockdown. She's locked down in her house, because Rigoletto, her father, loves her so much that he doesn't want her to be hurt. He knows how things work in the world. He knows that she's not in a good social status. So, like, she's the daughter of the clown. So he knows how men treat women, especially when they're not from the high society. he knows all the dangers, and also for himself, he knows that he doesn't want to lose her. She's the only thing he has. Now, in the beginning of the opera, we see that in the text, in the dialogue between them, in the duet between them very well, because he tells his daughter, I don't have any family, I don't have any friends, and I don't have a homeland even. And he tells her, you are the only thing I have in this world. So this is the background of this story. Just to give you an idea of what happens next, Gilda, she's locked down, but she can go to church. Okay, so this is the only place she can go to, and of course, at one day she meets a young man, and this young man really makes her fall in love with him. The problem is that we find out later in the opera that this young man is actually the Duke, so it's the boss of Rigoletto, who went, just for his like sexual satisfaction to find a girl at the church. It doesn't have good intentions. But Gilda never saw any person in her whole life except of the maid, and she fell in love because she's at the age that you can already feel certain things, and for her this is the end, the beginning of the end. And what happens next is that Rigoletto finds out that the Duke sort of made Gilda do things she doesn't want to do. He probably raped her. We don't see it exactly in the text, but we can understand that. And from there, the story is becoming really difficult. Rigoletto sends someone to kill the Duke, but instead of killing the Duke, he kills Gilda. So this is a big spoiler, but I think it's good to know the story before going to an opera, just to understand what's going on, because many times it's very complicated, and the end is tragic because he's sure that he has in his hands, in this bag that the killer gave him, he's sure he has the body of the Duke, and once he opens it, he sees his daughter, and that's the duet that ends the opera, and she dies in his hands. So this is opera. Feelings, emotions, love, death, revenge, all these things. So what we heard in the beginning is actually sort of an anticipation of the tragedy, because we heard tragedy, we heard boiling feelings that come out suddenly, and that's Rigoletto. Now I also wrote just a few key words that will help us later also with the other things. So we have fear, we have love, we have tragedy, impulsiveness, care, low self-esteem from Rigoletto, constant worries about his daughter, loneliness, he doesn't have any friends, any family, like he's the loneliest person on earth. And now we're going to talk about Gilda. This is me in the picture. I chose my picture because I thought it's nice that we're here, and it's from the production. So Gilda, she also, I would describe her by fear, but also by joy. Gilda is a very joyful character until the end. She has hope in her heart. She has love. She wants adventure in a way because she goes for things even though she knows she shouldn't. She's a young girl, also a bit impulsive maybe, and of course we have the tragedy. Now, after hearing all of this, I would like to tell you something about the last year. So the last year for me was very strange, of course, like for everyone probably, but I'm not actually working in my profession for more than a year. My last concert was a long time ago. I think, yeah, a year ago. I had virtual things, but you know, like all the performers are at home. But what happened is that when the pandemic started, I was in Italy with my grandmother, and the lockdown started in Italy. I don't know if you remember, but the first country, at least in our region of Europe and also the Western world, was Italy. And we did this, we started this lockdown, and I just started singing every day at 6 p.m. on the balcony. So that was our time of hope of the day for like, I think more than 50 days. There was the very first lockdown, which was really, really strict. And every day at 6 p.m. we had this little concert. I would go out and sing in the balcony. My grandmother would be there with me in the house, and all the neighbors would come out. And one of the concerts I did, I chose to sing Gilda. And I would like to share a bit of it with you, especially because it's so symbolic that Gilda is a character who her whole life is in lockdown. Her whole life, like, she does have hope, but it's not with a, you know, when you have hope, it's nice if you have something to look forward to, and she didn't really. So in a way, being in a lockdown in Italy, knowing that hopefully things will get better, and singing this aria is it's a very symbolic, and I would like to share a bit of it with you. It's not the best quality because it was filmed with a smartphone, but here it is, Gilda's aria, and you will hear that this is not like the tragedy we heard in the overture, because here it's just after she met this man that she fell in love with so badly. Oh, I forgot I prepared here something cute for you. Yeah, Canada. I heard you had not too much toilet paper. Okay. Tragedy, we said already. If you're wondering, the orchestra is actually back, of course. Here you can see the neighbors, all sometimes students, but still somehow having together.
Oh no, don't press that.
Oh,
No, we want to see all of it.
Ah, you want to see? Wait, go back to.
I don't know if you're going to mention it, Nofar, but CTV here in Calgary did a story on you. And I happened to see it live, and I said, that's my friend. And it was, incredible. It was such you did so good. You bring so much hope.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was. We could really feel the hope and solidarity that was between all the neighbors. It was really a special, very, very special moment.
Beautiful.
Did other opera singers join you in different neighborhoods, or was this something?
We were confined really to our house. We couldn't go to other neighborhoods even if it wasn't for groceries.
Right.
So no, I was the only opera singer in the in the block. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to another Verdi's opera. And we're not going to talk so much about the story, but we are going to talk about like the general idea of this opera. And this opera was premiered here in the theater I'm sitting in La Scala, in 1842. And it's about the slaves, the Hebrew slaves. The specific chorus, the most famous piece of this opera is the chorus of the Hebrew slaves, Va Pensiero. And it's the main idea is that we have slaves, which is a story that comes back again and again in history, in many pieces, that they want to be free. They want to have their freedom back. They're people, and they hope to be free. They have solidarity. They don't know when this will happen. If it will happen when they're still alive, they don't know, but they have hope, and they have fear, which is very similar to what we saw with Rigoletto and with Gilda. Maybe they're lonely, low social status. So we see many things that are maybe similar, but we also see patience. Here we have a bit more patience, maybe less impulsiveness, because what can you do if you're a slave? And this brings me to the connection with Passover, which is also about slavery and freedom. So the people of Israel were slaves in Egypt, and like every slave, they hoped for freedom. They didn't know when it will come, but they were hoping for it, and at the end, after many efforts, it arrived. And I chose this picture because it's a really wonderful movie, Prince of Egypt. I really recommend watching it. I don't know if anyone watched it here. Did anyone watch it?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Okay,
Yes,
so
I remember actually watching it in school. They
nice.
showed this, yes.
Yeah, it's like it's not the most accurate historically, but like historically, I mean, it's a story from the Bible, but I really recommend it. It's one of the most beautiful animated movies, which is also historical and has beautiful music too. Okay, so we arrived to Passover. Does anyone know why Passover is called this way? Passover? Sheila, you're not allowed to participate.
I will let the participants do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't it something to do with the firstborn son had to be taken away, and then they put like blood on top of their door
Yeah.
So they have to like pass over their house or something.
Yes, exactly. Good job, Brianna. So yes, the thing is that whoever knew that you have to do this in order to not have your first child, like your first child killed by I don't know, God, however you want to call it. If you didn't want them to die, you had to put this blood on your door, and that will make this bad spirit or whatever it is pass over your door. So you save your children this way. And accidentally, all the people of Israel knew this, and so they all did this thing, and no one died. But all the Egyptians didn't know that this is what you have to do, and all in every family, the first child of every family was killed in this, let's say, this night that it was. So very tragic, very, I mean, it's a very big collective punishment because the story of Passover, again, just in short, is that we had the Hebrew slaves in Egypt, not Hebrew, the Israeli people of Israel slaves. Then Moses came in the picture and asked the Pharaoh to let them go. The Pharaoh said, no, I'm not letting them go. Why would I do that? And then started the 10, how do you say that in English, Shula?
Plagues.
Admin? Oh.
Plagues.
Plagues?
Yeah.
The 10, how?
Plagues.
Plagues. The 10 plagues started. So first it was like light things. First, water turned into blood, and then there was the frogs coming from everywhere, and then it just became more difficult. And after each time, Moses told the Pharaoh, okay, now that you saw that I have these powers from God, will you let my people go? And he would say no each time, until the last time where he told him, okay, this 10 thing will be really tragic. Are you letting my people go? Pharaoh says no. And then this happens. His first child is being killed that night. And then he lets the people of Israel go. But it's too late because his son is dead. Now, the symbols of Passover, a few of them, is first of all that there is always hope. So that's one of the things of Passover. Here I chose this picture again from the same movie, Prince of Egypt, where Moses' mother, she knows that, so the same way that all the Egyptians were killed, before that, all the people of Israel that had a son born and not a daughter were thrown to the Nile, okay, to the river, because they didn't want them to rebel or something. So Moses' mother, she had hope. She sent him on this box on the river and hope that he will survive instead of being killed. And it actually happened, which is nice. But this is the symbol of hope. Then we have one of the main motives, which is going from slavery to freedom. And the last one is knowing to let go before it's too late. And here I'm not talking about Moses or the people of Israel, but about the Pharaoh, which was very stubborn. It didn't want to let go, even though he saw that it's becoming really difficult and something is wrong. And he paid the price of his son being dead. And it's a really good lesson, let's say, good, not lesson, but a good symbol to think about in this holiday, because are there things that we're not letting go? Are we slaves of something? Do we keep having hope, or we lose it sometimes, and why? Because there is always hope. So just interesting things to think about. And now the pandemic, which is we're living it for more than a year, and we can call it sort of our actual Egypt, because we're sort of slaves of this situation. We can't go wherever we want, and whenever we want. We have to stay at home. Maybe we have to do things that we don't want to do. So we are confined, like maybe like slaves. Of course, it's not the same, but we're not alone, which is something that is not to take for granted. We do hope. We have hope. I hope you have hope. And we have the opportunity to learn how to let go, to learn what's good for us, to see maybe if the things we thought are important are really the most important or not. And just to look at our lives from a different perspective. Now, with this being said, and with the introduction that Shula gave here, I would like to share with you a bit the project, the Musical Solidarity Project that we were talking about before, and that was born as a sort of a musical response to this pandemic. So when I was in Italy with my grandmother, and I saw that this is going to take a long time, and the lockdown is starting to be a reality in many other countries, I thought to connect many performers together to a piece from an opera, to a performance, a virtual performance of the chorus of the Hebrew slaves that we were talking about before. A full orchestra and chorus of people from all over the world that recorded, each one recorded herself in their own house from a smartphone, playing the part, if it's a violin, if it's a clarinet, if it's a trombone, if it's the soprano part or the tenor part, and we put everything together. By the way, Brianna, who is here, was a big part of this project, so she knows how much work we all put in this. So we have 500 performers from 65 countries. These are the countries. I would like to tell you that among these countries, and I'm Israeli and Italian, and for me there are countries that unfortunately, because of politics, I can't visit, or like we don't have any connections. But I would like to tell you that in this project, people from Iraq, from Iran participated, from places that I would never think that I would have the chance to collaborate with people from these countries. So for me, it was very, very special. Now, we also had many cultural institutions joining, also Calgary Opera, the Calgary Philharmonic. So it was a really special collaboration of solidarity, and it was all 100% voluntary, which is cool. And I would like you to hear a bit of it, and also just see how so many people connected in order to make music together, music from an opera, music that is universal. So let's listen to the chorus of the Hebrew slaves. I don't know. I think can you hear well? The
We
connection.
hear well. The image is a little bit choppy, but we can hear the music well. If you want to continue, it will be great.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you're not suffering.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Just a moment. Thank you.
Oh my God.
It was wonderful.
Oh my God.
Yay.
It brought
Wonderful.
me goosebumps, and I don't know if you can see me, but I was kind of teary. Like, you know, even if virtually, the sentiment is so there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm happy to hear. And also this piece, the music, the words, and actually really the intention that all the participants had. Like I don't have words to say. Like, I'm so thankful that people really joined with a full heart. Like no one was paying or paid to do this, and it was just really an act of solidarity, which is beautiful. And yeah, this was all recorded between March and May last year. So really, when everything started and everything was really unknown and very new and maybe more difficult. I don't know. It depends how you look at it, but yeah.
Incredible. Kola
Wonderful.
Kavod.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Amazing. Were
Thank
you
you.
singing? I didn't see you sing.
Yes, I was singing because you see every person only for 5 seconds because we were 500. So yeah, I was there in the beginning.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we arrived to the stage of the presentation where you can, if you have questions you always wanted to ask an opera singer.
Where do we hard.
Yeah.
now. If not, it's also okay.
Thank you so much for this. This is wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. It's beautiful to share this music and these things with you. So yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
did you put yourself this video all yourself together?
No, I had a team of Riddle Films in Toronto that they edited. Like we did it together. I also edited. We edited the grids because there are many videos that we had to put together.
Yeah.
They also did it voluntarily, by the way, like really 100%. And we had the sound engineer who did a really crazy work and beautifully done of taking all the about 500 files and putting them together to what you just heard from smartphones. So like he took like 500 pieces of a puzzle that wasn't even really supposed to fit, and he made it sound like an orchestra. Like all the files, all the orchestra, everything was recorded from just every time one part on a smartphone. So he did an amazing job, and yeah, we're a team of many people that not many, but people that worked on that. And like I said, Brianna was also part of this team of sending emails and reaching out to so many people. And yeah, this is the result, and I'm very proud of it. And I hope it gives hope to whoever watches it.
For sure, for sure. Anybody, Liz, Edward, any questions?
I'm just thinking, you know, when we were taking your breathing, the wonderful breathing classes, it seemed to be people from the United States as well joining us.
Yes.
And there's not too many people here. I'm wondering if other people like in the States were able to enjoy this, or in the future
certainly.
adding more, you know.
Actually, we are going to send this recording to all of people and say,
Nice.
hey, look what you missed. No.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, we are working on making a deeper marketing efforts, you know, to put all this out.
Yeah.
But I do have a question related to the presentation. Nofar. Well, first of all, is the Nabucco choir, like, how long is the video, and what have you sent it to media? What was the repercussion? What kind of PR? Are you still working with this, or?
So we before releasing it, first of all, we reached out to many opera houses, theaters, orchestras, really all the major ones in every country you can think of in this world. And we did received support from 55, which is a lot of institutions. And additionally, I reached out to the Italian national TV, RAI, which is like, you know, the most symbolic thing, because we were in, first of all, I was in Italy, and this whole pandemic situation was really difficult in Italy at that time. And Verdi is an Italian composer. This piece of music is sort of the second national anthem of Italy. It's really symbolic. So I reached out to them, and they very kindly said yes, that they are our official partner, media partner. So this is like a big thing. We were also like, you could see the video streaming on their platforms. So it was really, really beautiful. And we also had a lot of coverage in many countries on news or newspapers, like, you know, because so many people participated that I told them, I invited them to, we had a press release that we prepared, and then we just told them, please reach out to whoever you want, just spread the joy and the hope. And yeah, so now it's, it's, you can always find it on YouTube. You can also find on my website, you can find all the details about the project. And also, I think I didn't mention that, but anyone could participate. So we had a very strong base of professional musicians, but also we invited anyone else who wants to participate to send their recording, and we included everyone. So that's also like, it was very inclusive. And by the way, the sign language is something that you usually don't see in opera, because if you can't hear well, maybe you won't enjoy the music the same way, but why not include the sign language, because visually seeing all these people, and even if you can't hear a lot, but you can get something maybe, and even if not, like being part of something is really important. So that's why we also have the Italian sign language performers that really also did an amazing job, and just people who really wanted to do something together. So that's
brilliant.
Yeah, the sign language was very, very appreciated. You haven't seen, but pretty much any COVID broadcast, at least from Alberta, always has someone doing, it would be, I guess, American Sign Language, but they're always there, try to be inclusive. Really makes a huge difference. And personally, this was as good as Live Aid. I'm sorry, I'm saying how old I am here, but it's as wonderful as Live Aid. It would really be nice to see it out there to the world. Live Aid made a big difference during its sort of briefness, but I think we all need the hope of something like this as well.
Yes.
And it's really nice to see sort of the artistic and musical community step forward again and try to make a huge difference to people. It was a wonderful piece to do. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, very much so. The world is a small place when we have this.
And very, very well put together, all the segues and the connections. Like, you did an amazing job, Nofar. And we're getting close to our finishing, but before we end this meeting today, our program, why don't you tell us what you're working on? What's in the horizon coming up when all this when the world opens up? What are the projects? What's coming up?
So you're very optimistic, which is very nice.
Well, you talked about hope, right? We cannot lose it.
No. I mean optimistic about the timeline of things. I am not sure that it's so soon that we will be able to do whatever we want, but
maybe another virtual project, or just to give us a sense of your present. How is it looking?
So right now, first of all, I'm with my parents here, so it's nice to be home. And I am doing some virtual events, but it's not the same at all. It doesn't even get close to a live event like you also can imagine. Now in Israel, things started to open, and you can also meet with other people. So I'm working with, there is a pianist that I like to work with, that we're doing a program that we hope to bring to the stage soon. And like, things are starting to happen. Like I told you before, all my contracts were just like canceled with the hope to find a new date, but we don't know when. So for example, the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra, which I was really looking forward to, and many other things we don't know when they will happen. So that's my hope for the future. But also, I need to work with the unknown. So I just try to work right now on what I can work on. So it's practicing and learning new things, and just, you know, the the voice is something you always need to work on, and
Right.
you can always make things better. I also really enjoyed preparing this presentation, because it's, you know, as a performer, I usually don't have the chance to share what I think about, you know, the story. I just perform the story or
That's right.
the role. So here it's different, and it also makes me find out new things about these operas and the music, and that's really cool. Yeah, like in the meantime,
I'm wondering, since you know, I know it'll take time for the world to open up, but you are in a distinct location because weather works in your favor. So I was wondering if opera in the park or in outdoors, if you're thinking of connecting with people, you know, to start in that way, doing outdoor events.
So the thing about outdoor, we were talking about this in the beginning, about the acoustics and about how opera is not amplified. So outdoor, naturally, you lose something of the sound. There are concerts outdoor, but usually they're amplified. Like it's nice for the one-time experience, but I wouldn't have it as a regular thing, because, like, if you really want the classic opera, of course. Right. But in Israel now, actually, also theaters are starting to reopen, and we will see. But it's, for now, it's a slow reopening. So I really hope to have the opportunity to work and perform a lot very soon. So cross your fingers with me.
What I really hope is to have you here in Calgary with us really, really soon. I just want to ask the folks if there are any last questions.
Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to enrich our lives.
It was quite a privilege.
Yes, thank you very much, Nofar.
Thank you all for coming today. If you want to, do you want to stop your sharing? And we'll just say, everybody, goodbye to the camera. I am going to take, if you can bring your cameras on, I want to take, oh, that's so nice. I want to take a shot of the everybody saying hello to the camera.
Oh, I'm too shy.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
Okay, take about this one. Thank you, Nofar, Brianna, Elizabeth, and Edward for joining us today, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Oh, there you go. Bye to the Scala as well.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so
Thank you so
much,
much.
Nofar and Shula and
And
Brianna.
this has been recorded, so I will send the recording to everybody. Feel free to share it with family and friends.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.